if you haven't done it. If you have no idea who I am, you don't need to know that for the exam. But you do need to know the material. The syllabus outlines stuff, there's plenty of readings on Brightspace. So there's a ton of resources. Don't show up without having engaged with that important material. You need to know knowledge. But importantly, you need to put it in the right place. Okay, think of a house. You've all been inside a house. Are we agreed that nowadays most houses have bathrooms inside the house? Yeah? Okay, I know. So, when was the last time to get into the house you had to walk through the bathroom? You open the front door, there's a toilet, there's a shower. I was not expecting this. And then you get into the hallway. In other words, a bit like Pulp Fiction, you know? Every film has to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Except not in that order, so he said. Every exam should have a beginning and a middle and an end, except they should be in that order. Don't jump through time. Don't tell me the future before you've told me the present. Okay? Structure. What is the best way? Normally you go into a house, you go into a hallway, or you go into a living room or a kitchen or something. There's a logic to that. And why would you have the bedroom somewhere where there's a bit of privacy? Where would you have the bathroom where there's a bit of privacy? Where would you have the back door? At the back of the house. In other words, there's a bathroom in every house. The question is, where's the best place for it? As you structure the different elements of your answer, are you putting them in the right place? Are you putting them in the right place? And it's not simply parroting or repeating or making broad claims and, you're sociologists. And you're in your final year in university for the most part. So your job is to have ideas about how things should work and what's a good argument and what's not. And you're here because you're smart and you're wise. So reflect that in your answer. How do we know it? Because you present evidence. You're trying to persuade the reader of the answer. You're trying to persuade the reader, and that means you use persuasion. It means you use logic. It means you use evidence. It means you say, you can rely on this fact. See these findings? You can't rely on them at all. That's silly, that's nonsense. Trust me because of this. And that's important. Showing that you can weigh up evidence. What's a good argument? What's a bad argument? And showing that you can see the relationship between things that we've talked about here and the wider world. Is there a wider significance to these things that you would like to take this opportunity to highlight? If you think there is, be my guest. There's a question. Answer. Okay? So if you're asked to discuss something, that's quite broad. But that still means you should be able to say, and the important things about this issue are 1, 2, and 3. Okay? So discuss doesn't just mean a rambling, meandering nonsense. Discuss means highlighting what's important and explaining why it's important. Okay? So even if there isn't a, what is 2 and 2 question mark? Even if the question isn't framed in a simple, straightforward way, it still is a question, and you're still invited to answer it. So do spell out what your answer is, and do that at the start. And that kind of keeps you honest. That sets you on your course. That sets you on your course. And then you can see, are you still in a straight line from where you were to where you want to go? The most efficient way to get. Folks, that's all I wanted to say. So can I turn it over to you if there are things? Oh, sorry. Module evaluation survey. You'll see emails from the Central Administration. I'd be very grateful if you could take the time to just fill it out online when the dust settles. Okay. All right. So any questions? Any observations?
I expect them to have many references in it.
I'm expecting that many.
Yeah, if we're answering the question. Right.
There is a limit to what people can carry around in their head. I think think of the point of persuasion. Is your argument going to be more persuasive if you can refer to things you've read, or less? it'll only be more persuasive. It'll show you've done the work, it'll show you've thought about it, and the quality of your answer, I think, will reflect that work as well. So, please do if you can, please do. But don't think, again, you need to know everything, you know, there's some space. But a good example is persuasive always.
How many questions are there in each of the sections?
There are 3 or 4. There are at least 3 anyway. So excuse me. So you'll have a good, you'll have a good range of choice.
Just so like, are you gonna get like 3 questions and you have to pick 2, or are you gonna get like?
So you have 2 sections in the exam paper. You'll have 3 or 4 questions in each. And from each section, you'll have to answer 1.
Okay.
So 2 questions over the 2 hours, and 1 question from each section A and section B, or whatever they call them there, section 1, section 2. And again, can I reassure people? Sometimes people can think, oh, you know, the exam is going to bear no relation to the module. You know, if you find yourself staring at an economics exam paper, you're in the wrong exam. I assure you, the questions will reflect the things we've talked about, the things we've discussed. So there should be no surprises for anybody who's been engaging with the module at all. Does anyone have a question that maybe their shy and probably kind of stupid friend has but is too afraid to ask? You'd like to address it or ask it on their behalf? Am I the only one with shy and stupid friends? Imaginary friends, then. No, any silly question? Listen, the only thing that'll happen is that you'll make a fool of yourself in front of your future partner. So.
Obviously, it's like a how long is a piece of string kind of thing. I know you said short answers can get great marks. It's not a quantity issue. But ballpark, what would you kind of be looking for a question?
I'd be looking for somewhere between probably 3 and 8 pages.
Okay.
And I'm trying not to do that, but sometimes people write, you know, the size of their O's can just be incredible, you know, and then some people think it's like, if I can't look like this tiniest spider, and write them up. So it will vary, the number of words people put on the page varies by a factor of 2 or 3. But generally I would have thought, you know, if you're single spacing, probably, you know, maybe 2 or 3 pages, but if you're double spacing, I would have thought you might be looking at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But one thing to bear in mind is, don't think more is better. It's not. Sometimes more is, I've lost a train of thought and now I'm just going on, you know, I've lost my signpost and now I'm just taking the scenic route to nowhere. So the important point is, if you include it, and think of the reader, right? Notoriously short attention span. Tell me if you're saying stuff, why you are saying it. Don't have me wonder, gosh, here's material. I wasn't expecting this. Is this a bit of a whodunit? Please no, please no. So bore me with clarity. Bore me with clarity. Again, I refer you to your shy friend who has a
Sorry, excuse me.
Sorry, I'll take this one first.
Do you decide in the in text, or do you have to say where we're going?
Well, if there's a question, say, and you're referring to Ina Donald's work on something or other, and you can refer in the exam to the work, that's great. But I mean, listen, we all appreciate that sometimes, you know, you just can't think of it. What was the name of that person? I know I did the reading. In that case, brackets, I can't think of the person's name, but you know, the article was on this and this is what they said, right? So by all means, do something like that. But again, think of the issue being one of persuasion. You're making an argument, you're answering a question, you're telling me something that you want me to believe. And it will be more credible and more persuasive the more evidence you can bring to bear. So if you're saying, here's evidence from this piece of research, and you can cite it and so on. But that doesn't mean you need to remember the page of anything, you know, I mean, listen, you're not going in with books beside you to remember, you're going in with what's in your head. So we understand that that can be a flawed process. But as much as you can, great. Is that okay? Yeah. And
Throughout the lecture, you've more or less said that to put the answer
let you know very quickly what what we're trying to say or what the answer to the question is, and then work down from that.
Insofar as you can, yeah.
And then you say to make sure to clarify the concepts, etc. So sometimes it's put the answer up front, assuming you know, and then clarify later down.
Yeah, and again, horses for courses, it is an issue of judgment, right?
It is. It's trying to make that judgment when
Yeah.
you're there and you want to say something, then you feel you need to explain that before you say this, and sometimes it's trying to get that balance.
Can I make an observation? Several people in doing their essays gave numerous definitions of what a crime was. I'm not sure that was helpful in the context of the essays. I'm not sure it kind of advanced anyone's argument. I think in some cases people might have thought, gosh, I feel a bit insecure. Maybe I don't know everything about the topic, so I'll try to get into my stride. And that's fine if it's a sentence or two. But if it's 2 pages and you're still, if you're still kind of clearing your throat after 2 pages, I'd say, it's not coming out, right? Okay, whatever is lodged in your throat is there for the duration. But what I meant is, don't discover the answer by accident at the end.
Okay.
If you know the answer, why didn't you tell me at the start? It's a whodunit issue. Mystery novels are great when you're on holiday, not when you're trying to mark papers. So the more clarity you can give, the better.
Okay. And as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Insofar as, do as I say, not as I do. How many times have you come to a lecture and it's like, gosh, Egon has just started talking. I wonder what he's talking about. And after 10 minutes, maybe you'll... So that's why I find it's helpful to begin with a plan. So this lecture is about 1, 2, 3, 4 topics. That's the sequence. In case you get lost, in case you go for a little nap and you wake up, this is where we will be in the lecture. So insofar as you can do that. But again, don't waste precious time writing out in longhand what you're going to be then duplicating. My essay is going to be about X, Y, and Z.
And
My essay is now about X, Y, and Z. Don't do that. Don't do that. So
do you give marks for the rough work on the side of the page?
I always look at the rough work. I usually try and ignore it insofar as sometimes it's people clearing there, and sometimes what the rough work implies and what actually appears, they might not be the same thing. But I do look at it, and if there's stuff there that's relevant, that doesn't quite make it into the exam, then certainly I do take that into account.
If we go in and look at old exam questions, are those going to give us a pretty good idea of the types of questions?
They'll give you a sense of how questions might appear. The questions will vary from year to year, and please don't assume any question is a guarantee. Please don't. People do that, and I can't tell you what's on the exam paper. The purpose is that it's a blind exam paper. You go in having prepared for what it is. But certainly I think that's useful. I think that's useful revision. And I think it's a way of going from a broad lecture topic where we're kind of touching on a range of things, just squeezing that into a format that equals a question and an answer. Oh, so that's how you might ask a question about X topic. And even that exercise in itself I think is helpful, just translating the lectures to get the exam on those topics. So I think it's useful, but please don't rely on it. The rustling of papers is beginning. Pretty soon you'll be putting out the campfires and moving on. Folks, listen, if you have anything to add, by all means, drop me an email. What can I say as well is thank you for spending the time with me and with each other over the course of the semester. I've enjoyed it, and for those of you I've embarrassed by asking questions of, heartfelt apologies. For those of you who've answered with good answers and bad answers and appalling answers, thank you so much. We've been lost without those answers, so thank you for all your contributions. And can I wish you well in the exams? Can I wish you well at Christmas? Can I wish you well when Christmas is hence? And be nice to yourself. Okay. And good luck. See you.
Thank you.